Yeah.
In person, we used to just go from
And I love that people are like, no, it's fine. But I'm like,
so you just stay in front of the camera?
Pine Point, the one that went down.
I'm. It's on now.
It's like a hill.
Yeah.
Pine Point, you went, you were up, and then there was a cabin over here, and then you went all the way out to the end, and there were like 2 or 3 beaches. Yeah. Like down the, and
When
when
they were little, we used the first dirt road, like if you're coming from Hollis.
Right.
Because it was so flat and shallow, so that's the one we used to do. But now we're like, I'm just gonna get a boat.
Like, I can't be that tall. Like, I can't be that tall.
But my kids are excited for bar and wine. Yes. Well, it's fun to do it. Well, my brother-in-law bought pontoon boats, so, and there's, so, a place up there that pays $6,000 for the year.
That's a good thing.
And they, you got the slip,
Right.
you have bathrooms, a kitchen, a washer and dryer, and then they store, winterize and store the boat for you, $6,000 for the entire year. So, it's something.
So they put it in and they take it out.
Something to consider. Because my boys can fish.
Yeah.
They're big into like fishing and like they used to do cheese all the time.
How many people can do that?
What?
Go right down,
My kids love to
especially without making like old people grunting sounds.
Get one without power.
It's faster. So, but you can't fish on it. There's padding everywhere.
What are we going to maintain a seldom?
You'll find someone like, oh, I did. Because we used to like, oh, let's go for a picnic.
Right, it's not like. Okay, 2 hours.
It's friends last summer. I shot it, but it's late.
Yes.
Everybody else spent a whole day. You know, they would have to like,
Yeah, yeah.
and they would just spend a day.
Right. So they got a boat launch there.
Yeah, but that's taking they just come and they spend a day there. Yeah. They sit boat launch. And it's so frustrating. You're trying to.
Yeah.
Okay, like I saw you in the morning, I saw you in the evening, and
I thought it was like pretty chill. Well, now I'm going to do that tonight. It's really cold and so there's that too, right? That's how I. Like we don't have it up here? No, we don't. Oh.
Like, we don't. Are we open? 100%. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I was
restaurants are.
Friday night, you did?
What's it?
Oh,
What?
I went to Commodore Friday night.
I heard it was.
9 o'clock at night, every table was full.
Wow, that's good.
His, my son, like, summer, he has, for a soccer tournament.
Oh, good.
So, and then after, like, let's go out to eat, so we went to Commodore.
That's good to see.
Coming down.
I mean, downstairs, just now. More so than before. Yeah, yeah, definitely, in the weight room.
Like, I said, signing up this class, I said,
Yeah.
two yesterday,
Oh, yeah.
and the last one. He said,
Yeah.
"Don't you, I got the last spot."
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Come to Pilates.
The fourth one.
We got this tap, 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 tap going on. I love the energy in here, so we don't need to go down on our back this morning. Do you hear this uproar? Simmer down, my beauties. It's a good place for you.
Gotta mix it up.
I like it. I like it. I like it. All right, so find your comfortable seated position. It must be that even though it's cold, we know that spring, you know, in my world, spring started March 1st. But anyway, spring is coming for the other people. We can feel the warm weather. Spring fever. Let's go ahead and close our eyes. Taking a deep breath through the nose and then exhale it out through the mouth. And if that feels good, do another 1 or 2 more. In through the nose and like that spring cleaning out through the mouth. As you continue to settle in, Place a hand over your heart, over your low belly, and create length between the hands as you sit a bit taller. Plugging your sits bones down and the crown of the head floating above. Begin to tap into your yoga breath, into yoga breath. Means we're breathing fully, expansively into the belly, then the ribs and the chest. That's our 3 parts. We exhale in the reverse, emptying, sinking the chest, the ribs, emptying the belly until we actually pull up through the pelvic floor to squeeze that last bit of breath out. There's moments of stillness in between the action of the breath. And we want to find ourselves, catch ourselves lingering comfortably in between the breath. Feel the breath beneath our palms. Feel the breath naturally, gently stretching the body. Allow the body to shift and move. Try to feel the breath circulating through. Almost feel like you're being immersed within the breath. If it were an ocean, you would be dipping in between the waves in a smooth and subtle way. Let's continue to ride these waves of breath. You can either begin to open your eyes or keep them closed as the hands come down to the knees. And on our next breath in, we pull the palms of the hands to the knees and the chest opens to the front of your mat. Bringing your gaze slightly up. And then as you breathe out, lift and round into the whole back body. Now keep the shifting light through the pelvis as we arch gently on the in-breath. And then round on the out-breath. For the next few cycles of breath, move to where the front and back are getting what they need. Slowly saying good morning to ourselves. Let's take this a little bit further. As you breathe in again, lift your right arm up. Take a little bit of a twist as you breathe out. Slowly bring that arm back round, round, round. And inhale, left arm lifts. Just a little bit, we turn. Just a little exhale, come around and round, round. Right arm, slow and steady. Begin to initiate the muscles of the belly to make this a smooth roll, right? So feel the muscles lengthening up as we reach left arm. Noticing without even thought, naturally the twists begin to increase. Slow down the breath a little more. Move with your shoulder. As the arm reaches up, feel that leg to the side body and then open to the back. Getting closer to the ground. Beginning to tap into the twist. This morning we'll keep this smooth groove going. But I recommend finding your pace and in between the action of the breath, pausing to be able to stretch a little deeper. And then go with the breath again. And you can really get a nice delicious stretch Do both pausing in the twist. And then, of course, pausing as you round back. Let's go one more time to the right and left. And a fun spot to meet up in, we'll round back here. Meet up once you come back with that left arm. I feel like you have a unicorn horn, the crown of the head. And let's poke that horn forward. Stretch through, open up through the chest. Inhale. Let's take 3 breaths like this. And we'll keep this groove going. But what we want to do as we come back through is switch position of the legs. Round it back. Begin to glide it through. Now, let's be honest. This is your tighter side, right? Can't hide it from me anymore. So see if we can soften the leg that's in front, that thigh. Just add a little more TLC. And also engage the muscles of the belly a little bit more. Let them glide this movement. How much space can you grow into the back and then the front of the body? We're going to take 2 more dips through because I'm personally assuming this is your tighter side. As you come back through the second time around, let's investigate. Let's walk the hands out. And search the floor in front of you as if you've lost a contact lens. So really take your time over to the right as you press that left thigh and hip down. Stretch, maybe move the hands around a little bit. And then keep stretching outward as you move over to the left side. And the same thing. Kind of get into all the places here. We're really not talking on the floor, but in the thigh, the side belly, side of the back. And then bring yourself back around. Can you reach the arms out in front? And then lift the belly, the buttocks, the hips. And bring those knees behind. Walk them in. Open up through the front body as you breathe in and through the back body as you breathe out, just like when we were seated. Initiate that straight movement from the belly. And we try not to arch too much through that low belly. Instead, we want to create that length and then begin to open through the floating ribs, the chest, shoulders wide. Now, to allow this freedom of movement to happen, let's make sure that the elbows aren't hyperextended forward, yikes, eroni, but instead, try to keep a soft bend. Right, so you're lifting up through the wrists, the elbows. Let the inner elbows eye each other. As you breathe out, take that right knee in. Inhale, flex the foot. Now keep the left hip over knee. Exhale, round it again. Inhale, take it long. Now let's round through left arm, swings out in front. Breathe in. And then we do things a little different here. We're going to take that hand down and swing it back as we round the knee in, and then take it back forward. So we're not taking that, typical elbow into knee, keeping that arm long and extended. Forward, extend it back as you round. Play with this for a few more breaths. Buttocks are helping here to seal the deal as we round. Scoop it. One more time. Now take that left hand down as you round and step the right foot forward. Find your modified lunge. And we can keep the hands down, but cupcake hands, right? Like the fingertips are trying to protect that amazing frosting. Outer thighs hug in. And we haven't given up on using the belly. That's pulling back a little bit, so we are not collapsing in the low back. We're just easing into the hips this morning. What's usually tighter than the hips, it's not a riddle, I'm gonna tell you right away. It's the hamstring. So just go ahead and take that leg back into a bit of a half split. Let the toes separate. Nice flex of the foot. Now you can get a good look at that left hip. Bring it in, and then point the right foot away. Pull back through the hip. So now you're transferring that stretch a little bit more into the shin, the front here. Now let's round through. Come back into our modified lunge, and then pull back. Let's take a deep breath in. Left leg swings back. Exhale. Round it in. Conscious of where that right hip is. We're going to keep it aligned. So the outer thigh, the belly, even above and below the hip are active. And I do like to ask what your buttocks are doing right now. They are helping, right? They're not just enjoying the ride. Let's add an element of balance as we swing that right arm through. Exhale, swing it back. Reach. Strong as we maintain alignment. Two more. Let's go ahead and take the right hand down. Step the left foot ahead. Knee ankle aligned. Square the hips. The hip bones are evenly faced to the front of the room. Low belly hasn't given up on us yet. It's plumping the low back. Shoulders wide. And as we take a few more moments here for the hips. Little, do you know it's tighter than our hips usually? Hamstrings, pull back. Give yourself a flex, maybe even glide the foot forward so you can keep that knee and hip alignment in the back leg. Pull the hips back as you stretch the spine long towards those flexed toes. Speaking of those flexed toes, go ahead and point them. Keep pulling back through the hips, see if you can feel this stretch through the top of the ankle, the shin. Now from here, let's roll forward. Take a moment here in our modified lunge. Tuck the toes behind you under and step them forward. Feet hip width distance apart. Now take a moment to hold the elbows and kind of create a letter C around the legs. Right? We'd curve a little to the side and back. Now if we were this funky chandelier hanging, right, what would keep us lifted is about the belly button area. So feel just a gentle lift from here to allow yourself to hang a little bit more. The knees are bent, right? They're keeping things relaxed. Let the arms go. Make sure those feet are about 2 fist distance apart. Inhale, sun breath arms to come up to stand. Exhale, take the hands behind you. Roll the shoulder blades in, interlace fingers. Press the hips forward, keep the tailbone tucked, open to the front of the body. Now let the heart break through. Deep breath in. Lift up higher through the chin, just a little bit more. And on your next exhale, get it back together. Tailbone in, ribs over hips, arms to the side. Inhale. Palms together, soft bend of the elbows, right? Na, 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 na. And then we'll lift up with even weight through the feet and stretch over to the right side. Now keep the ribs in, tailbone tucked. Use the obliques to come up. Shoulders down. Lift up on the inhale, stretch over. Now let the left side keep lengthening. Breathe into your underarms. Let's come on up. Let's do it again. Keep those ribs over hips. Keep the tailbone tucked. Stretch. Exhale, slow and steady. Work the obliques over to the other side. Stretch it out. Right, and the hips, they kind of shift a little. We're not exaggerating. Come back up. Beautiful. Let's breathe and look up. Take that baby back bend again. Breathe out. Pull down to the floor. Inhale. Get that half lift up. Exhale, release. Step the right foot back, but keep the knee up. So we're in this high-low lunge. I'm saying low because our hands are down, but our knee is up. Now squeeze, hug the outer hips in. See if you can get those hips to align a little bit more. And then the low belly, lift up, taking some weight off the hips. Lengthen into the back of the neck, keep the chin tucked. As you breathe out, step your left foot back to down dog. Beautiful, take a deep breath in. Listen. Listen, Lindas, they're better than calling you other names are. Let's step the left foot, the same foot back where it started from. Say what? And then the right. Inhale, let's come up to stand. Exhale, hands behind the back, shoulder blades roll together. Keep the tailbone tucked. Inhale, take a little stretch through the front of the body. I might say it's a baby back bend. Exhale, bring yourself back together, hands to the side. Inhale, open up. Let's take it over to the right, shoulders down. Lift up, keep the ribs aligned, tailbone tucked, other side. Stretch. Pick it back up. Inhale, let's take our baby back bend. Exhale, bend and fold. To the floor we go. Lift halfway. On the in-breath. Exhale, release. Step the left foot back. And we stay low. Hug the hips in. Keep a sense of lightness into the fingertips. Shoulders relax. So now you know the trick, right? We're going to step right foot back, down dog. But feel it, that move is fresh within the hip. So take a deep breath in, and then as you breathe out, step that right foot back to the front of your mat. And then the left. Inhale, come up to stand. Take it back down. On the exhale. Lifting halfway. And then release. Step the right foot back. And then step the left foot back. Come into plank pose. Now, always in plank, we're welcome to bring the knees down. We're welcome to come down a little bit early. We want the lifting up to the center of the body. The hips pulling back and crown forward. Try not to be so tight about this. It's fun to be strong. It really is. Right? That's why they call them superheroes, because it's super fun to have those powers. And we're gaining them here. Float up a little bit more in the in-breath. Now the eyes of the elbows face each other like in our tabletop, but then we draw the elbows out to the side. We hug them in. We keep them parallel. Pull the palms lower down, all the way to the floor, all the way to the floor. Draw the toes back, so now the tops of the feet are on the floor. Lift the hips up just a little bit. Push the tailbone forward as that tucks under, and see if you can get this ripple effect through the spine that gradually leads you into a natural upward dog, pulling the palms in. And then let the hips drag you back about where that ripple effect started. And pull up, find your downward facing dog. Moving hands and feet all over the place to find your dog. In a way, our dogs are all the same as we're working the alignment structure. But then after that, it's all different. Like those of us that have dogs, right? No two dogs are alike. So begin to find within the structure of where the bone should be, drawing up and opening, your version, how bent or extended the legs are, how wide the shoulders are. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, knees bend, right heel to buttocks. Inhale, stretch the leg up high to the sky. Exhale, round and step the foot forward to the front of the mat. Light on the fingertips. Take a deep breath in. Step the foot back to downward dog. On the exhale. Shoulders wide, breathing in. Bend those knees, left heel to buttocks. Inhale, extend, square the hips. That's about lifting through the belly, round the spine, step the foot forward, front of the mat. Knee ankle aligns. Take a deep breath in, float, levitate. Exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, extend the spine long. Exhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. You light about it. Bend the knees, Let's come into chair pose as we roll up. Let's exhale, take a twist to the right as we pull that left hip back. Look down at that left knee. Keep it even with the right. Open through the back body as we continue to breathe. On the next inhale, let the arms draw up. And as we exhale, cross them over to the other side. Try to keep the palms of the hands centered to your heart. You can press into that right elbow to lift up a little more through the left side. Tuck your right knee back. And lead with that right hip as you roll back up into chair pose. Inhale, watch those arms go high. Exhale, down. Lifting halfway. Exhale, stepping back, plank pose. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, let's roll through, find up top. Exhale, downward facing dog. For a few breaths, we find our place again. We check to see if any tension snuck in. We're not bringing tension on this ride, so let go in the jaw, the tongue, anywhere else through the body that you know you resort to clinging, to holding, right? Could be for protection or support. Just use those strong muscles to support us. Take another deep breath in. Exhale, knees bent. Right heel to buttocks. Inhale, take the leg up high. Exhale, round the spine. Step the foot to the front of the mat. Dig a little into that left knee as you pull the hips back and then extend from here. As you come up, you want to stretch that left thigh, extend the spine. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift that left thigh as you cross the hands over. Take a little bit of a twist. So we can root that left elbow down as we tuck that left hip in a little bit more. Lengthen through the sides, lift, float that right side up. One more deep breath in. Back it up, bend the knee. Roll back into the left hip. Inhale, extend one more time. Exhale, take it down to the floor. Shoulders stay wide, step back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward dog. Downward facing dog. Check it out. Are we clenching, gripping? Find space, open, relax. Let the ribs float up. Right, this is where they can catch their nape. One more breath in. On the exhale, let's begin. Bend knees, left heel to buttocks. Inhale, down dog split. Exhale, scoop the tail, round the spine. Push the foot forward. Set it down. Bend a little into that right knee. Pull the hips back. So the knee's bent as we come up, and then we extend. Hug the hips in. Palms come up. We lift that right thigh. That helps us to cross over. Hug the left thigh in. Elbow to knee. And we begin to float. The left side. The right side stays long. It can even stay down where it is, as the left side just floats up, getting wider through the torso. Now let's take one more deep breath in. And how we got here, we're gonna reverse. So we're gonna bend the knee, pull the hip back, extend, lengthen. Let it go. Step back to plank, chaturanga. Breathe in to the heart, the ribs, the belly. Breathe out, empty it all. Deep breath. Extend, stretch. Let's step our hop on the out breath. Feet to the front of the mat. Light as we go. Chair pose, deep breath in, sun style. Exhale, cross over your heart. Left thigh back. Float. Find a comfortable position. The neck, the head. This time as we breathe in, pull back up. Find your chair pose, arms high to the sky. Exhale, cross it back over. Pull that right hip back. Lift the left side up. Another deep breath in and out. Inhale, let's come back up. Exhale, float down. High lift, and then we release. Come back to plank. Float your way down, and then pull through to up dog. Downward facing dog. The deep breath in. Knees bend, right heel up to the sky. step it forward. Left heel down. Let me go with you here. Left hand goes back towards the foot and then up towards the back wall. Reach that right arm. In celebration, thighs open, buttocks contained, spine lengthens. Inhale, a sun breath. Exhale, come back to warrior two. Now are you even, ribs over hips? Next inhale, float straight up and then curve over. Almost like the main part of the letter, the lowercase letter F. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, take it back again. So we'll go back and forth from sun warrior. Exhale, find your way to warrior two. And then lift back up to side angle. Keep your right knee open. Yep. Keep the tailbone tucked. Come back up. And back. And up. So what if I told you we're doing this move to create space, to try to stretch out every time? Right? So let's move with that thought in mind. Right to the side, we just want to stretch. The arm helps us, but keep the shoulder down. And then come back to your starting point. Keep those ribs in, the tailbone in. Back over. So let's do one more time. Back and forth. Float, lift. So those thighs back, buttocks in. You come back up. And then come back forward. Now reach all the way over. And then bring the hand down. Reach up high, relax the shoulders. Take another deep breath in. And then lift both hips, roll them back, and come into a lunge. Okay. Roll them back. Let's step back. Either two down dog or add another vinyasa. Deep breath in. Bend those knees as you breathe out. Left heel extends to the sky. Step it forward. Right foot down. Reach your right hand back and then up. Thighs widen, buttocks draw in. Shoulders at ease. So let's begin. Inhale, take that sun breath back. Exhale, come back to warrior two. Check yourself. And then stretch up and over. The front. And then back. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Awareness of your knee as you keep the thigh open. No tension. You know, our shoulders get a lot of wear and tear. And that's why we try to limit, especially those of us that are in yoga every day, you know, all these movements. So even here, I want you to see if you can go with the torso, right? Lift up to the side, the shoulder blade just goes with you. And then you take that stretch. So it's not the shoulder blade itself, the muscles around it that work. They move, get a stretch. They're not what's pulling us back up, taking us back. That's the belly. It's the buttocks, the thighs. Take a few more of these. Really feel what's going on. You have a great view of your knee every time you come through to side angles. So make sure you're open. And that's a safety thing. You just don't want to put weight on something that doesn't have that secure base behind it. That's life. And the next time you take your side angle, come back to warrior two. And this is just play as we stretch forward. And then as we take the hand down, and we reach, we take a moment to really lift through the right hip, the side belly, the shoulders are at ease. And then when we transition into a lunge, we just create a little more space through the left hip as we move through. And I'll meet you in downward facing dog. Maybe a vinyasa is in between, or maybe child pose is in between. Stay for 2 more breaths. Feel the length evenly through the right and left side. The head even between the arms. The thighs continuing to pull us back. 1 more breath in. Let's step or jump to the front of the mat as we breathe out. Chair pose greets us as we breathe in. And then come to stand as we breathe out. Yes. Take your hands to your hips. Muckle a hold of the hips. We're going to move the right leg around, the fire hydrant circles, but not our hips. And we're not forcing a move. I want you to find a groove within your hip bones. Right? And we all have different shaped hip bones. Make sure the back of the hip bones, right, is placed so we're not sticking out, the belly's filling in. Press the thighs back a little bit more, and then start with the right knee. Just bring it up. Make sure we're eased back a little bit, right? We're creating a hollowing within the hips. Make sure they don't shift as we take it out to the side and down and around. Now, if this is just like, then maybe guide it along a little bit, but you don't want your arm to take over. Reverse direction. We only do what we can do. Catch the knee out to the side, and then stand taller to the left side. Now I say even it out with a little hooray of your left arm, but center the ribs, relax the shoulder blades. And hopefully there's shifting going on. It's you getting stronger here as you balance. Bring the knee in. Swing it back. Now we're not as wide as warrior 2, and you can play with asana. So we want to keep the in, the belly in, the shoulders in. Then look at, if I just came from here and I went down, it's not like a sabinal triangle, right? So see how much, right, your hips will glide back, but not forward. I mean, they can, but we don't want to go that far. We just want this clean, straight line from hip to wrist. And if I kept talking, my voice, because it's obliques here, right, we've been working with, that's keeping us. Now dial your chest. Look how far I am to the floor. Doesn't matter, right? We are opening up. So we draw the tailbone in, and then roll the spine a little longer. Use the side belly muscles. Now the right arm, drop the shoulder, drop into the shoulder blade. See if you can wiggle a little bit. You can hold onto your left leg as you do this. But just like, get a little, not too crazy, but just make sure you're loose. And from that looseness, extend like your hand has a helium balloon. Right? The shoulder drops. And take that left arm. Now maybe we're placing the hand right in front of the shin or on top of to get a little lift, a little extension. Right? It's not about coming down. If I were to come down, my hip folds in, I wouldn't do that. It feels so different. This is a side angle, so we're trying to get the side muscles of the hips, the underarms, between. Keep the tailbone and nothing about the back. We want the low belly to fill up that low back so we don't feel that. And then get your head on the right? Make sure it's not drooping down or reaching forward. Lengthen. Find comfort here. It's there. All right, slowly pull back up. Magnificent. And step your right foot forward, nice and wide, almost mat width distance. Bend the knees. I know we have the other side to do, but we haven't done those. And you know when you put on a coat that's too big? It's my life. And then your arms don't go all the way down the sleeves. And so we do this, and those sleeves, empty coat sleeves, they wrap around. But the knees are bent, and we move a little with those hips. Just kind of going back and forth. Get nice and loose. And then if you really get it going, you can see how much. I want to let go. I want to be able to let go. Okay. Woo. So from here, come back. So keep it loose up here. We got that party in the back thing going on in the shoulders. So press back, muckle a hold of the hips, press back into that left hip, and then just begin to explore. And again, if you feel any pressure, help the knee along. Don't use your arm or your shoulder, but help it along a little bit. Now notice the buttocks are going to hold you together, the right thigh, the belly. All our great moves take trifecta muscles to help. It's reverse direction. And then as we're ready, begin to step that foot back. Ready? So we're finding our way into triangle again. Oh, no, bring that leg back up. I apologize. Yeah. No one was going to tell me?
No.
You're like, no, we can skip that. So drop the hips. Be a little W. Use your belly. See the dance of balance going on. This is good, my friends. Let it happen. Now the tricky asana. Step back. So usually we're not as wide as what we feel comfortable in warrior two. So play with that width. Take the arms out to the side. Make sure tushkis aren't sticking out. That will compress low back. So we pull back into our left hip as we reach over the right leg. So we just keep going until we stop. And then we dial our heart. So one arm is down, one arm is up. And then we lift up, we float, we try to get really loose through that top shoulder. We just did like empty coat sleeves, all that kind of stuff. And we feel a little lift like there's a helium balloon kind of pulling us up, but everything relaxes. And make sure you're not leaning forward again. Fill up the low belly, the ribs in line. And it's the obliques that are keeping us there. So you can use your bottom hand to press into the front of the leg to open up, or to top to lift up. Right? Or maybe you're even working that crazy strength, taking the arm forward. I know we want to stick back there in the buttocks here, but keep it in. Use the belly and buttocks to hold yourself aligned. Beautiful. Take two more breaths. Anchoring back through your left hip. Slow and steady. Step forward. Remember that thing we did a minute ago? Let it go. Two more breaths. Keep those feet wide. Bring the fingertips to the floor and come into our low squat. Bringing the palms together. Scoop. Keep the tailbone under as you come down. Bring the feet together up above the ground. I know, I still haven't gotten that shirt that yoga teachers make things seem much easier than that. So extend the legs, extend the arms, and then come back again. And let's do that a few more times. Now this is the thing, if you're like, this is crazy, Paula. Yep, or I haven't seen you in a while and all of a sudden you're here and you're like, it's been a while. Take your breaks here. So let's go back and forth from building a little bit of strength, or a lot of strength, to stretching out. Now this is real good for the trifecta muscles. You feel all those, the buttocks thighs, the belly. And when you're ready, take that forward fold, Baddha Konasana style. And we already did the effort, so this is the, right, this is the release. A few, I don't know how many choices yet. One is this, stay here, stretch. One is what we just did, our ab work. That's our prep for the third choice, which it's been a crow kind of time lately. I've been just kind of, when summer hits, I always want to go into handstands and upside downs, and I feel like, yeah, I do though, and I feel like crow, someone is saying that, crow is just that perfect intro. But the last thing I want is for you to feel pressure through like wrists, elbows, shoulders, all that stuff. So these two things equally we need, right? We need the flexibility and we need the strength before we flip it over. So I guess then the fourth choice, because I see I didn't know how many I was going to give you, would be to practice in your squat. We were talking earlier about how it really is about the pelvis, managing the pelvis, right? And things become a little bit easier. So with this, it's the pelvis that we want to lift up. We don't want to push into the ground and hope, right? Do you see people, they're like, I just pray something is gonna, and they kind of, they're slipping off their legs. Well, before we even attempt this, we should be able to hold ourselves up. We should be able to lift, right, at this angle and float. I love last night, somebody was like, well, what's the beginner to this? Really, once you're in a squat, you lift up through the hips and then begin to lift the toes or the heels, right, coming onto the toes. The elbows bent out to the side are creating tables for the inner thighs. But we don't rest. I mean, I see that, right? We don't sink down. We want to float up. And as we pick up a foot, we float up higher. As we pick up a foot, we float up higher. Right? So that we have the ability, once we're ready to move around. We don't want to be heavy. But we've seen it, right? We've all seen people and then they slide right down. We shouldn't even get to that point, right? We should be practicing that uprise. So I'll give you another minute, which is a good amount of time in the yoga world, to play, whether it is stretching. I want to think of the fifth. Here's another. Come to sit Sukhasana style. Remember, we should be playing every day. Work a little, play a little, meditate a little. Even if that's your gardening or reading a book, just cut it. All right. Circle arm. Do you remember kindergarten? I used to be a kindergarten teacher. But we would, right, there'd be time for everything. There'd be a little music time, and there'd be a little current events time, right? There'd the weather time. Our day should still, we set our, everything we, Robert Fulghum said everything we learned in kindergarten, So your day should still be like that. Reverse direction, no humdrum. Frolic a little. Come down onto the floor. Earlier we were searching for contact lens, we found it. Let's just simmer, relax. Rock back, roll up. whichever leg is in front, so you might not be doing exactly what I'm doing, but whatever leg is in front, open it out to the side. And then make sure your sits bones are both even down. Anchor through your opposite, your bent leg, and reach that same arm up. So that letter F, that lowercase f, we want to lift up and then begin to curve over. And we don't want to arch the low back, right? So the belly is always plumping up. Take your arm that's in front of the extended leg, press into it, kind of like in triangle. Right? We are going to lift up and over. It's not just straight down. We're lifting up and we're extending over. We're anchoring our opposite hip bones. And we're feeling that stretch come from there. The top arm, the shoulder, we want to keep it loose. The head, get it on right so there's no tension, no pain in the neck. So if you could just reach longer, not to the toes, but beyond them. To the toes and beyond. And then the side that's getting a stretch, make it work. Make it pull you up and set you back. Tip the pelvis forward and just stretch over your bent leg. The extended leg, keep your knee facing the sky, the toes facing the sky. I try not to turn them in. Let's roll back up to sit. And bring our leg on the inside. Shake out as need be. Let's fold. Let go. Soften. Relax the buttocks, the thighs. Roll back into the pelvis, tailbone tucking under to come up. The leg that's in front, out to the side. Knee, toes flexed, staying pointing upright. Opposite hip roots. We take the lowercase f. And then we begin to venture a little deeper. Plump the low belly into the low back. Open up to the sides. Shoulders at ease. And then with that rooting of that bent thigh, that bent knee, we're extending, we're lengthening. Use the arm down below to assist, to go deeper, to support. Side belly muscles that keep us together. Hold us in here. Let's go ahead and slowly use them to lift up. Tip the pelvis with the knee and toes facing upright and fold. Slide the tailbone under. Begin to come up. Legs in. Let's come onto our back. And as we do, hug the knees into the chest. Circle them around a little bit. Even shake the legs out. Loosen up a little bit more. Go of the extra baggage. Let the knees come back together. Let's bring them over to the right side and then twist. Left arm reaching away. There's choices here. You could stay if this feels really good. Don't shift it. This is great. If you want to stretch the outer thigh a little more, you can extend your left leg. Or if you want to take the twist a little deeper, extend and then tuck the left leg underneath the right in an eagle-like manner. Breathe into the space that you're stretching out. And then bring the legs back to their starting point. Right hand underneath them to bring them up through center, and left hand will take them the rest of the way. As we root down through the right and reach, keep the chin tucked. And then you can find other leg straight, tucked under, or just where you're at. Breathe deep.
If you're ready, left hand under the knee.
Bringing the knees back to starting pose. Back up. Shake the legs out. Shake the arms out. Replicating a bug on its back. Give it all. Take a deep breath in, and then as you breathe out through the mouth, and let the arms and legs go. And if that felt good, do that another 1 or 2 more times, and then find your own path and your own way to settle. To give in to the weight of the bones. Finding Shabasana. The next breath, filling the pelvis, the ribs, chest. Let yourself linger before you breathe out slow. As you continue to master your breath, observe the body. The more the breath is mastered, so is the body, so is the mind. First we master the breath. If your mind wanders away from the breath, gently ease it back in. Practice. aware of your breath. As you turn movement back into your fingers and toes. Wrists and ankles. Reaching through arms and legs as we stretch. Hugging the knees in, them circle around. Or finding your way over to your right side. And up to sit. Quietly, as we sit here, we'll place the hands together in front of the heart. Lower the chin to the chest. As we acknowledge our own magnificence, our own divine being. As you look up, take a moment to acknowledge the amazing beings that you shared this practice this morning with. Thank you all for coming and playing. Namaste. Yeah. See, life has good stuff to it, man. This is the groovy stuff. The groovy gravy. Have a great day. I'm just talking to myself.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. You make me not sound crazy.